Hi there, this is Ida again from the judges box, and this is always for free. So people send us in little clips of their tests, either English dressage or Western dressage, and I evaluate them real quick, so just a minute or so, and fill out a form, and you get a chance. This is Trisha Barsby. She liked her first one so much, she sent us another little clip. We do remind people, please, 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 you need to be photographing, if possible, for evaluation in landscape. Very important for us to do a better job. So if you would, but anyway, feel free to join in. And here she is. This is supposedly a level 1 test in the Western dressage. And you can see that because we don't have the landscape, you can't really see her full geometry. So really not too clear about that. I'm sure she'd like to have more feedback about that. Let's just stop it for a second though. What we can see about this horse, which is kind of cool, is one thing to think about is if this long frame, if you have this in landscape, we're going to learn about that, is that it gives you perspective as to where the horse is going. You can see more of the ring, so you can evaluate the geometry. And this is why if you show online, you're required to film in that perspective. So that's why we ask people to do this. As far as this horse being in a level 1 frame, he is round to the bridle. She appears to have a fairly soft contact, but right here is something very telling. Level 1 is where the horses and riders are supposed to be learning to develop the bend aids and to keep their own balance, and for the riders to get the bend off the outside aids. And by mistake here, Trisha has leaned in. When a horse and a rider lean in order to steer or turn, what happens is the horse evades bend, and they kind of heel over like a motorcycle rather than actually lateral pole flexion, flex through the shoulders, take more weight behind. And so they kind of lean over and go around the turns. And horses are clever at getting around turns, they're very handy. But when that happens, they also avoid engagement, which is taking more even weight on both hind legs. So let's check this out. We can see here that she has already leaned in, and he's starting to heel over through this turn. And he just never, I'm going to back that up. He just never had any lateral pole flexion. He's going around here. I'm dragging this real slow for you, but there's no bend there. Like right there, he's absolutely straight, but she's on the serpentine that is between the two quarter lines, and not much bend going on there. So, as well as we're really sorry that you can't really identify. Um, it looks like she's over the quarter line there, but from this perspective, we have no idea. Some good things though going on, that he does stay on the bit while he gets around this whole thing. He kind of stays in a level frame. One thing that we're looking for is that if this horse is thinking about progressing towards level 2, and my job is to sort of judge it, but really you're here for some training tips. What can I do better? This horse needs bend. We're not sure about the geometry because we couldn't see it. If I was looking at this horse in level 1 test 1, um, and this is a beginning level 1 horse, he's doing a good job staying round to the connection. He looks pretty relaxed, no tail swishing, mouth isn't open, all that good stuff. So we appreciate that. If he's on level 1 test 4, or this rider is going to begin to present him in that, headed towards level 2, this horse is in a very horizontal balance, and at moments he's pulled low. And what has to happen is the horse has to take more weight behind, come up through the thoracic, begin to carry itself more, because for level 2, we're expecting some collection, and that's where all that lateral work is coming in. So level 1 is to get the horse really, really, really bending, and all these 10-meter turns and between the quarter line bendies exercises are all about, can we really bend this horse? Does he begin to balance and take more weight on the hind legs? Will he use his thoracic and lift it up? And then if you're not getting enough bend on a serpentine or a 10-meter circle, you're thinking, I'm going to be very challenged in my shoulder in, my renvers, my haunches in. And that's why level 1 Western dressage and level 1 regular dressage has so many 10-meter turns and 3-loop serpentines, because your job is to produce continuous impulsion, keep the horse in balance with the pole, the highest point, which we see right here. Here's his wither, and his pole isn't there. And this happened while he was turning, which means went on to forehand during turn. So it's a little tricky. Do I like this horse? Yes. Do I appreciate his activity? Yes. Do I like his harmony? Yes. But the skills that I'm looking for, that level 1 is supposed to develop him towards level 2, I have a little question where there should be a check mark. I have a little question mark. So not a lot of bend here, and I have the feeling he fell out past the quarter line. Lope depart was prompt and cheerful, but once again, this horse is very, okay, so you can see this is really, really a horizontal balance. If this horse was in basic in this balance, I'd be like, yeah, that's okay, yeah. But in level 1, I'm expecting him to stay rounder to the connection and start using his thoracic. And his thoracic is not engaged here because his wither is almost higher than his SI. And no matter where I stop him, okay, so this is the most uphill carrying moment of his stride, and his pull is still lower than his withers. So I think he's very obedient, and I think he's very cheerful. Again, no bend. This horse is just making the circle, but really not a lot of bend at all here. A quiet transition, but we did not see his top line take weight in the downward transition. We're going to let him lope around there again. And when you see a horse just kind of stop through the back and the hind legs kind of stop, is he obedient to the jog transition? Yeah. But the first step or two of jog was not very active. It's a cheerful horse. So I think there's a lot going on here. I think Trisha and this horse have a really steady start. I think that most of these marks are sort of, I think the serpentine for me would be very 6'5"-ish, because it's really a lack of bend. And although the horse stays very steady to the bridle, it stays in a certain frame, it's slightly downhill, this frame, and its balance is slightly downhill, and it lacks bend. Those are a couple of really big components that it could be clearer. The lope depart was prompt. It's cheerful. It didn't go off the bit. It's kind of 7-ish. The circle might have been irregular in shape. Not really sure, because we have the wrong perspective with this photography. We need landscape. So not sure about that, but clearly the balance not as uphill. I think comments that might be written on the test, if Trisha, you've been getting comments that say needs to be more in balance, they're getting at that the balance is slightly downhill. Or sometimes judges write on a horse like this that's very horizontal. They write horizontal balance. And is that okay at level 1? It's okay. So okay is sort of 6'5", maybe low 7'0", but it isn't better than 7'0". It isn't 7'5". It isn't 8, because he needs to develop the use of the thoracic, and he needs to show bend. And so if this is a level 1 test 1, then it's okay. As he progresses through level 1, this has to develop strength, and we're hoping that's gonna happen for him. Thanks for all this discussion. I really appreciate the fact that you're a quiet rider that looks like a willing horse and he has nice gaits. And I think you have a lot of talent. And if you get working along on this and improve his balance, i.e., get his thoracic up more, get his thoracic engaged, look for pull to be the highest point, and work on the bend, which these are all the spokes of the Western Dressage training wheel, working with the wheel always, you're going to be right up there. So just begin to address all these things. I think you have a great start, and I just think these are going to be the frosting on the cake, which allow you to progress more successfully forward. Until next time, take care. Bye.
Thanks for watching. If you like the information we provided today, don't forget, subscribe, like, and share. Also check out IdaNorrisDressage.com and Ida Norris Western Dressage on Facebook.